Hello everyone, this is Nupur Sharma and today I'll be starting a new chapter of history of class 7th, that is rulers and buildings. Now let us first understand the theme of the chapter. What is the theme? Rulers and buildings. As we know, in the past many rulers came and ruled over our country, and when they ruled over our country they constructed so many buildings, different kinds of buildings. So in this chapter we will be reading about all those building construction that was done during that time, and what were the techniques used to build those buildings, what were the architectural designings used to build those buildings, what were the importance of those buildings, and are those kind of buildings created now or not. So we will read about all these things in this chapter. So history and its significance and the architectural development throughout this time. What was the architectural development throughout all these times? Talking about Qutub Minar. Qutub Minar, the construction was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. Now see, only the starting of the construction was by Qutbuddin Aibak, and then later it was the first floor was constructed by Qutbuddin Aibak, and then it was constructed by Iltutmish, and later on it was repaired because so many things come, earthquakes and so many like natural disasters came, so the building was not looking so nice, so it was again repaired by Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad Tughlaq, Feroz Khan Tughlaq, Ibrahim Lodi and Sher Shah Suri. So they all repaired the building later on after Iltutmish and Qutbuddin Aibak, right? Now talking about the 8th and from 8th to 18th centuries, so many building constructions were done during this period. Now many buildings were constructed, kings and officers built different kinds of buildings. Now what were the kinds of buildings that were constructed in that time? Private buildings and buildings for public. So two kinds of buildings were constructed, one was private and the other one which was constructed for the public use. Private building include the forts, the gardens, the residence and the tombs. These all were the private buildings in which the kings and the rulers used to live, and they had their private life in these buildings. And the buildings which were constructed for the public, which was for other people, those were the tanks, bazaars, the caravans and wells. Now, and temples and mosques were also there. Now you see two terms, temples and mosque. Temples, if we say, so will relate it to the Hindu religion. If we say mosque, will relate it to the Muslim religion. Now why do these two things were there? Because there were Hindu rulers also who ruled over our country, and then later the Muslim rulers were also there. So during all that time, as the rulers came into existence and they ruled the country, they built it temples and as well as the mosques. So now the private buildings, what was the purpose of making those private buildings? The purpose for those buildings, like those private buildings, were the protected places where the kings and the rulers and their officers could live. And the public building was for the public use, where people can go and worship their gods in temples and mosques. If we talk about the tanks, so they can use the water from those tanks. We will read about it in detail further. Now merchants and traders also built up temples, mosques and mansions, only survived from the 18th century. So the other merchants also used to construct all these temples and buildings. Not only the kings and the rulers, the merchants also used to construct these kind of buildings. Now the main topics, what all are we going to cover in this chapter is engineering skills and constructions. So during that time, during that medieval period, what were the engineering skills and what kind of construction was done in that time? Then we will be reading about building temples, mosques and tanks, how the temples were built up, how the mosques built up and why the tanks were built up. We will also read about the temple construction in early 11th century and why were temples targeted. Later on we will also read that those temples which were constructed were also targeted. They were destroyed. So we will read about that, why these temples were destroyed. Gardens, tombs and forts. As I said, in the private place, the rulers used to build up the forts. So we'll read about the gardens they used to build up, the tombs and the forts, region and empire, churches that touch the skies. So let me tell you clearly today. Today we'll only be covering these topics. These 4 topics we'll cover today, and the rest other 3 topics we'll cover in the next video. Alright, so now talking about the first topic, engineering skills and construction. See, to build the buildings, they needed some skills. So we'll read about those skills, how those buildings were constructed, what kind of material they used to use, and what were the changes, what were the development that came during that time. Talking about the monuments, the technologies used for constructions. Now, there were 2 kind of technologies. See, there were 2 kind of technologies that were used, Tribate and Arcuate. These are the different kinds of technologies that was used during that time, and why there was change from Tribate to Arcuate, there was a change from this to this. Why this change came, what was the need to this change, we will read about these technologies. Talking about the first, that is Tribate, this was also known as Corbelled. Tribate technology of architectural, it was also known as corbelled. Now, when the roofs were constructed, the roofs, the doors and the windows, if you see in today's house or the buildings, if you see how the construction is done, suppose this is one wall, this is the other wall, and here you can see a flat roof. But earlier the buildings were not constructed this way. It was not flat like this. There were so much of designing in that kind of architecture. Now, in this Tribate kind of architecture, what happened? Suppose this is one wall, this is the other wall, and now over it arches were made. Arches were made. Arches you can also see today in some homes of this shape. These are the arches. Now in this time, the Tribate architecture, what used to happen in this time, it was done like this. See, this was the kind of architecture when we talk about the Tribate. So when you see here in this figure, these are the 2 walls, and here you can see the stones are placed above these walls. So can you see that first stone is placed from the center of this wall, then the other one again leaving some gap, then the other one again leaving some gap, and same from this side. Now, what was the problem with this kind of construction? The problem with this kind of construction was that the balance was not proper. As you can see here, it is not properly balanced. So, the stone which is over here, if you see, it is carrying the whole of the weight. So, it could have fallen any time. This was not a good kind of construction. So, in this Tribate architecture, this kind of construction was done. But then later the rulers realized that no, there is a problem with this kind of construction because the balance is not proper over here and it could fall anytime. It might have fallen in some places. That's why they changed their architectural form to arcuate. Now what happened in this architectural form? In this architectural form, suppose this is one pillar, wall you can say, this is the other wall. Now they started placing the stones in different way. When this much was done, now see the balance here, you can see the difference in both the figures. Here you can see it is looking quite imbalanced, and when you see here, it is fixed one after the other. Now you will think why this gap is there. This gap is there because in this gap they used to fit another big stone which used to be fitted completely. It used to fit in this gap, and these stones were joined by a concrete which was made up of limestones and cement and small stones, which made it very hard. Now because the technology is changed in this architectural form, so the mixture they used to use to place these stones was of limestone, and it was made very concrete. Concrete means it was made very hard. Now since it became very hard, and the middle, this one stone, this was known as the keystone. This stone was known as the keystone because now this stone used to hold the complete arch, and it was fixed between these stones. So there was no chance to drop down. So therefore, when the rulers realized that the Tibet architectural form is not having some problem and is not so good, so they changed their architectural form to arcuate, and in arcuate architectural form this kind of arches were made. So you will see in many old buildings and in temples also that these arches are there. Even in houses also we see that these arches are there. When we want to make some designing, we don't want the entrance to be just simple, so we use arches in our houses as well. So these were the changes which came in the architecture during these times. Now here comes our second topic, building temples, mosques and tanks. Now why these temples, mosques and tanks were built up? Temples and mosque, if we see these two words, temples and mosque, these two are the places of worship. Though it are from the different religion, temples are for Hindus and mosques are for Muslims, but the reason for building these was to worship. Now was the only reason to worship? No, the only reason was not to worship. The temples and mosques were not only meant to worship. There were many reasons why the rulers built up these temples and these mosques. So these places of worship were also constructed to demonstrate the power, wealth and devotion of the people. Now the rulers, talking about the rulers, now first of all let us talk about the rich people in the society. People who are rich, how they will show that they are rich? How do you come to know that they are rich people? By looking at their vehicles, the cars which they are using, or by their house which is constructed in a very nice way. So by looking at their houses and the cars which they are using, or the other vehicles, or the clothes which they are wearing, right, by all these things you make it out that they are rich, they have wealth, right. Now but in the past people were not having those cars and all, so how they used to show their wealth and their power? The reason for constructing these temples and mosques was to show the power and wealth of the patron. So the rulers used to construct these to show their wealth, right? Because the rulers were wealthy, they used to fight the other kingdoms, they become wealthy, and then they used to construct these temples and the mosque and tanks and all these things to show their wealth and show how powerful they are. Now talking about Raja Rajeshwara temple. So Raja Rajeshwara temple is built by King Raja Raja Deva. So you can see the similarity between both the names, Raja Rajeshwara and Raja Raja Deva. Why these similarities are there? Because this temple was worship for Lord Shiva. It was worship for Lord Shiva. Now the worship of this god Raja Rajeshwaram, understand the name game. Now here understand the name game. This was to claim the king as said by the god. The king used to name the temple and own name. They used to give the same name to both the temple and their own. Why? Because the kings, the rulers used to think and used to claim that we are also like the gods. So they wanted the people to respect the rulers like they respect and worship the gods. That's why the temples which these rulers used to make, they used to construct, they were on their own name, so that people also respect and worship them as their gods. Now the temple was the miniature model of the world ruled by the king and his allies. So it was a kind of miniature model, like the ruler is ruling all over, and he has different allies also. So in that same way he used to construct a temple. So the temple was basically the model, miniature model of the world in which all those people are living with the ruler. Main deities represent the Raja, and the largest temples were constructed by kings, and lesser deities were constructed by the subordinates of the rulers. So the main temples, like suppose the Shiva temple was constructed by the main kings, main rulers, and the other temple, suppose there is one Ganesha temple or other temples, they were created by the other ministers of the king who were working over there. So it showed that they are lower than the main Raja. So the main construction, the temples which were big, which were constructed in a very good way, they were constructed by the kings, and the other allies used to construct the other small temples over there. Talking about the mosque, if we talk about the early Turkish rule, the Muslim rulers, they were the sultans and Badshah. So now see, when these Hindu rulers were trying to make themselves the god, they were trying to make the connection between the god and themselves by creating those temples, and by giving the same name to the temple so that people could also respect them like gods. If we talk about the Muslim rulers, the sultans and the Badshah, they don't used to consider themselves as god directly, but indirectly they also wanted themselves to be considered as god. How indirectly? They did not claim to be the incarnation of God, but Persian court chronicler described the sultans as shadow of God. The Hindu rulers used to tell them, we are the god, and here the Muslim rulers, directly they don't used to call them god, but they used to call them as a shadow of God. Right. Now the inscription, talking about the inscriptions, if I talk about Qutub Minar also, the inscriptions are written over there, and they are written in Arabics, and those inscriptions tell us about all these history which we are talking about. That how do we come to know about all these things? Because in those buildings the inscriptions were there. So the chroniclers know, they have written, so by all these things we come to know about all these story about the kings and the temples which they created, and how do we come to know about these, that they wanted to consider them, their people, to be God. Now by constructing places of worship, rulers proclaim their chances to relate with the god, and rulers also offered patronage to the learned and pious, and they tried to transform their capitals and cities into great cultural centers that brought them to their ruler at their will. Now the learned people, what these rulers used to do, all those who are the learned people, they used to take them in their courts, and they told them to work for them. Whosoever was the learned ruler, so if suppose somebody is singing so well, so they used to bring them to the court. Okay, you come and sing for us, we will look after your family. You will not have any problem with your family. So whosoever was a learned person, these rulers used to call them to their court, and they used to stay there with the kings only. Now what was the role of a just king? If we talk about a just king, king of justice, so what was the role of a just king? Just king would be an age of plenty. If we talk a just king, so according to people's opinion, a just king should be the age of plenty. Age of plenty, this means that whatever resources which people wanted, that should be plenty when a ruler is ruling over the place. So he should have, the king must have plenty of all the resources required by the people. So in that time, the main resource which was required by the people was water. Coming to this point, temples and mosques we have discussed. Coming to this one now, tanks. So people wanted that the king must have every resource at a plenty. He must have plenty of all the resources. So water was the main resource which was required at that time, medieval time, because it was the Agrarian society means people were mostly based on the agriculture, and the peasants also used to work on the fields, and from there the taxes used to come. So see, the main work was of agriculture during that medieval period. So for agriculture, the main thing required was water. So how the rulers built up these tanks? The rulers constructed reservoirs and different water resources. Sultan Iltutmish won universal respect for constructing a large reservoir just outside Delhi Kuna. It was called Hauzi Sultani. So Sultan Iltutmish was considered as he was given very much respect for constructing a large reservoir. So the rulers used to construct these reservoirs basically near the temples and the mosque or gurdwaras. They used to construct the reservoirs near these places, because the people who are going for worship, they could also see that yes, our king has done this much for us. So all the things which was done for their own benefit only, because the kings wanted to gain the trust of their people. So that is why they constructed all the temples, all the mosques and the tanks, so that they can gain the trust of the people, and people can support. Just to gain the trust and support of their people, the kings constructed all these buildings and all these things. Temple construction in early 11th century, rulers in north and south. The use of stone in temples. So in the temples, the stone was used to construct the complete temple, and earlier there were rock cutting temples. Like there is a huge mountain, and then in that rocky mountain, the cuttings were done, and there only the temples were constructed. But later they used to construct, later on they constructed the independent temples. They were not on the rocks, but earlier the temples were constructed on the rocks. Now there is one more term in your book, that is Shikhara. What is Shikhara? Suppose this is one temple. Now, the topmost part of the temple is known as Shikhara. The topmost part. How much big the temple is? Only the topmost part of the temple is known as the Shikhara. Now, in the North India, the temples were constructed in Nangram style, and in South India, Dravidian style. So the Shikhara which I am talking about is from the south, the Dravidian style. The Khajuraho complex contained royal temples where commoners were not allowed to enter. There was a Khajuraho complex where the temples were built up, but the common people were not allowed to enter those temples. Those temples were only for the rulers, their family members, the priests who were there in their courts, and the merchants who were working for them, but not for the common people. The temples were decorated with elaborately carved sculptures. The Raja Rajeshwaran temple had the tallest shikhara among the temples of that time. Right now I talked about the Raja Rajeshwara temple which was built by King Raja Rajadeva. So it had the tallest shikhara. Now there is again one story how they built up so tall shikhara. How that was possible. In that time there were no cranes. The facilities which we can see right now, when the building constructions are done, we can see so many facilities. The machineries are there, cranes are there to lift up heavy stones and to place those stones over the building. But at that time, no machineries were there, no cranes were there. Then how it became possible to make that shikhara so high, so tallest shikhara? Now, there is a story. When this temple construction was ongoing, what they did, they wanted to make it at a very good height. So, because there were no cranes at that time, what they did, before constructing this, they made an inclined path. Inclined means this kind of path. So, before this construction, the construction of this inclined path, they did it with the help of the sand. Constructed this much first, then again reached here, then constructed this much, then constructed this much. So they created an inclined path through which they can roll on the stones, and then the stones can reach over here. Now They could have made this kind of inclined path even. Why didn't they make this kind of inclined path? See, if you go for if you go to ride a bicycle and path is like this, so you will come back. If it is too steep, you will come back. So that is why instead of building this kind of inclined path, they built it up a long inclined path which was not so steep, so that it could become easy for the laborers to roll on the stones and to reach till the top. And after the temple construction was completed, this path was again destroyed. It was not permanently fixed over there. They just built this path till the time the construction was done, and after the construction was done, this path was again destroyed, diminished. Now, there is one more story related to this. There is a village near this temple named Charupallam, village of incline. After this incident, that village was named as the village of incline because of this inclined path. And this path, the distance of this path from the temple was nearly 4 kilometers. So till 4 kilometers they built up this complete path, and then they were able to make the top shikhara of this temple. Now in the early 11th century, talking about the Cholapuram, Chola king Rajendra I built a Shiv temple in his capital, and he filled it with the prized statues. Now from where he brought all those statues? Not from his own money. Now we'll read about it, how he was able to fill the complete temple with different statues. He used to, when we are talking about the next topic, why were temples targeted? Why these temples were targeted? See, let's take a very simple example. If suppose you love to play cricket and you are playing gully cricket in your street, and there is one uncle in your neighborhood who doesn't like you people to play cricket, so he always gets angry whenever he see you children playing cricket, and he always scolds you. You will not play cricket here, no need to play cricket over here, this and that. So what you will do, you will also feel angry that why this uncle is not allowing us to play cricket. But what you will do? You can't attack that uncle directly, right? So what you will think of? You will think of damaging some property of that uncle, maybe scooter, maybe car. You might be thinking that today let's puncture the tire of his vehicle. So these thoughts will come into your mind, or let's break the glass of his house, something like that. So you will not directly attack that person. So why these temples were targeted? This is the reason why the temples were targeted, because in that time when the rulers used to fight against the other ruler, instead of harming them directly, what they used to do? As I told you, these temples and mosques were not only constructed for the purpose of worship, they were also constructed to show the wealth and power of the ruler. So the temples were targeted because these temples were showing the wealth and power of the rulers. That is why the other kings, other rulers used to destroy these temples. So they were destroying these temples, that means they were destroying the wealth and power of the other ruler. That is why these temples were targeted and they were destroyed. So when I talk about the Chola king Rajendra I, he built up a temple and he filled it with many statues. From where did he brought those statues? He brought a sun pedestal from the Chalukya dynasty, a Ganesh statue and several statues of Durga, a Nandi statue from the eastern Chalukyas, an image of Bhairava and Bhairavi from the Kalingas of Orissa, and a Kali statue from the Idras of Bengal. So from different places he went, fight over there and collected all the statues from their temples. In other terms, you can say he stole all those statues from the temples and filled it in his own temple. Now talking about Mahmud of Ghazni, he came to India and attacked the temples and looted all the temples. So the main temple which he looted was the Somnath temple. He looted that temple around 17 times. 17 times the Somnath temple was looted by Mahmud of Ghazni, and he tried to get credit as a great hero of Islam. He was Islamic ruler, so he tried to get that credit that he is a great ruler of the Islam, because he was again and again looting all the temples and bringing to his own country. So these were all the topics. How was the engineering skill, how the construction was done, we have seen over here what kind of arches were made and how it transformed to tribute to arcuate. Then how the buildings and mosques and tanks were built up, constructed, why they were constructed. Then the temple construction in 11th century and why these temples were targeted. So till here you will again read it in your book, you can read it again, and these 3 topics will be covering in our next video. Thank you.